let's get to business. Let's go to our first keynote presentation. That's with Konesh Kochhal, Director Industry Ecosystem Engagements at Huawei. And we're talking 5G cloud and AI synergies towards an intelligent world, which is a fantastic way to start the show today. Hi Konesh, how are you?
Good, how are you? I hope I'm audible and visible.
Great to see you. Well, the virtual floor is yours, and I'll be back with some questions at the end.
Thank you so much. I hope I'm visible and audible clearly. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are dialing across the globe. My name is Konesh. I work with Huawei in the Asia-Pacific region. And the next few minutes, I wish to spend on understanding how we are developing these technology roadmaps for creating values for us as individuals, societies, and enterprises. Thank you to Bitchclick Media and the Mobile Magazine and Data Center Magazine for putting this wonderful event together and having me here today. So without further delay, now the dynamics of the world that we live in is a function of how we connect with each other, how we interact with each other, how we exchange our contributions in the shape of product and services that we develop for each other, and therefore create value. Value for us as an individual, value for us as country and economy in general, right? Now, this cycle of improving connectivity, improving productivity and efficiency, and therefore leading to growth is a continuous cycle. It keeps on moving. What happens is in pursuit of improvement around these elements, there are some technology breakthroughs that come across our way. And some significant ones like 5G, cloud, AI, take the shape where they become general purpose technologies. For example, today, if we go out and in the market, we buy a washing machine or a refrigerator or a phone, technologies like electricity or internet is a default. It doesn't come across to our mind. What if it doesn't exist? I'm investing so much on these devices. Now, on a go-forward basis, intelligence is taking that shape with the explosion of Gen AI around us. I think that journey is very, very accelerated in some sense. Now, these technology advancement, what they do is they change the way the economies functions. So this shows on the left is how we have evolved from agricultural economies to industrial economy to digital economy that we are living in currently, and soon we would evolve to intelligent economies, purely from the interventions of these general purpose technologies. And that raises the requirement for energy, because these systems consume energy. Now, end of the day, as we increasingly embrace this digital paradigm that we live in, our identity, our interactions, the way we interact with the product and services and systems, we are represented, right, from our identity to our interactions as a data point, right? Therefore, in traditional economies where oil was the core resource, now data in a digital paradigm becomes the core resource. That drives this digital economy of today and the intelligent economy of the future. Now, this data, which is generated from how we connect with each other in an evolutionary manner, needs to be stored somewhere, needs to be processed in order for these products and services to function. And it needs to travel from point A to point B so that we become an integrated global society. Now, that requires an infrastructure. The infrastructure that can utilize this data to therefore improve the cycle that I just explained to you, right? All this sounds academically very nice, how data as the core resource is driving us, connecting us. But is there any evidence? So increasingly, we have got empirical evidence where we are analyzing the impact of these technologies in silos and in an integrated manner. For example, studies suggest that as you improve a mobile generation that is from moving from 2G to 4G, 4G to 5G, and 5G to 6G in the future, the GDP or the economic value raises up almost 15% with every generation, right? Or to say every 10% increase in the adoption of these technologies, the GDP takes 1% up, right? Similarly, when this data is processed and there are many products and services that use this data, GDP sees a further jump with every 1 point rise in computing index, right? Now, as leading ICT product solutions and services providers, we build these infrastructure. And we have a very responsible role where we ensure that these are very carbon reduction intensive solutions, in the sense responsible towards the environment, responsible towards the climatic impact that these equipments will have. But end of the day, if we are producing these green equipment, the industries that use this equipment have a 10x impact in terms of what carbon footprint and handprint they are contributing to while using these equipments. Now, when these synergies are put together about connectivity, computing, and green solutions, that is when the true magic happens and their integrated value is created. Now, these technologies development are not new. They have been happening for generations. What signifies importantly today is that these synergies are creating not just product and services for our social media usage or improving few Mbps here and there at home or on our mobile phone, but they are leading to value creation from socio-economic perspective or digitalized industry. These are real examples from developing economies in APAC, for example, where a simple technology based on 5G cloud and intelligent connectivity is able to connect restaurants to people like us, where we are ordering food in a manner where we have not done it 10 years back. Similarly, live streamers are able to sell product, creating e-commerce opportunities. And it has significantly changed the way we hire a taxi. Now, it may sound very cool that we are using these applications, but data suggests that people who are actually doing this job earn twice as much as a traditional economy job in these developing economies. Now, we may be fascinated with the technology that it is contributing to, but this is actually creating jobs which are better rewarding, right? And in terms of industries, when you have population at scale to address, the healthcare system, the manufacturing, the logistics ecosystem, they are under constant challenge and pressure to improve productivity and efficiency. Now, gone are the days where these technologies of 5G and cloud were deployed just to create a CCTV safety solution, right? Or a logistic solutions which was tracking the vehicles. Now they are creating integrated solutions where core production processes in a manufacturing environment is using the synergy of these collected technologies and therefore able to increase their production and generate some economic output of it. Therefore, we see that these synergy development requirements at a national level are prioritized and are increasingly forming the core priority areas for national development. Now, we have seen the excitement that technology is accelerating, but we have to appreciate the technologies doesn't evolve overnight. It takes a long time before a value potential of a particular technology is envisioned, to a hype creation, to actual maturity where people like you and me start using it. This chart shows that over the last 10, 12 years, cloud computing with the 4G network developments and redefined social media interactions which we had around that time, it has already been 10 years where we have seen cloud computing in the space where it had a promised potential. 5G itself is 5 years old. We are still asking the question of why 5G and all, but it has gone through that cycle of 5 years, right? And last year, Gen AI hit the ground, right? And redefined productivity and efficiency potential. Therefore, this is the start of that journey. But what I'm trying to highlight here is that all these technologies go through a robust process of development. Now, data which is becoming more and more refined as we go forward, that 50% of the enterprises across the board, across industries, which covers even the low digital industries like construction and manufacturing and agriculture, 50% of all enterprises would use cloud computing for their customer lifecycle management, for their business processes, for their internal planning and business models, right? For 5G, it is supposed to reach 56% adoption of global population by 2030. Gen AI, although very, very new, is estimated that already 11% of IT overall budgets were spent on Gen AI readiness and ensuring that data is ready for result. The first step is to get data ready for these kind of technology integrations. So significant technology development, if it can be simplified to a level where I am able to use a synergy, for example, to find my direction or way of predicting traffic from reaching from point A to point B, if I can simplify it to that level, the adoption is simple, the explanation is simple, and it creates economic value end of the day. Now, as I mentioned, 5G is already 5 years old. What it has achieved in 3 years, we saw that kind of achievement with 4G layer in 5 years. Now, today there are 311 plus networks and growing. 2.1 billion of us are already using 5G services. There are other type of 5G networks, purpose-built 5G networks that are growing. Because now this business, this model is not about building towers and selling SIM cards. There are real-world problems of people connectivity, of industrial connectivity that this 5G connectivity is solving, right? Now, we have seen sites capable of delivering 1 Gbps. Now we are entering an era where not just every site, every house, every room, every individual user, through the rise of video and other type of services, requires 1 Gbps connectivity. Therefore, the pioneering 5G nations are already commercially trialing out 5G advanced network where the Gbps connectivity transitions to 10 Gbps connectivity, the latency reaches 1 millisecond level, the industrial connectivity integrates RedCap and passive IoT type of solutions. In addition to it, building and testing capability of sensing, positioning, uplink video improvement, and so on and so forth. Therefore, 60 plus operators are already having 5G advanced trials or launch plans. And first time or the second time after 5G, the commercial packages, the device ecosystem, all is maturing very much with the rise of standards and technology development. Now, it all requires us to measure this journey very, very carefully so that we are creating value at the same time, not wasting the precious resources. Thankfully, there are measuring mechanisms developed by the ecosystem in a collaborative manner where we are able to see the pioneering countries doing well in these technology adoption. Now, the idea here is not to say I am better than the other or to compare one country versus the other, but to leverage the learnings from where you are to where you wish to be. A nation has already done it. What are the type of localization needs I can leverage from a particular geography that I can bring that value addition development to my country as well? And these numbers on the right that show economic value of each of these technology generations, they are not accurate, or what I'm trying to say is they are becoming accurate every day as we go forward, as we understand and adopt these technologies in an integrated manner, so on and so forth. And there are millions of job opportunities which are coming up. Now, naturally, there are transformational impact. There are challenges that one needs to address. Even if 5G came after cloud, it doesn't mean that cloud is fully mature, right? There are other requirements that come in the compute layer as well, which is more around reliability, more around optimized operations. More and more devices at the edge needs to be integrated with the same platform. You don't want to create a different network for industries, different network for people connectivity, because you need efficiency so that there are affordable products and services. Naturally, we need to build trust in the system. That's when you use this system. So therefore, to build trust, you need to have enhanced security. Compliance needs to be developed as the technology progresses. Naturally, there are productivity and efficiency requirements in terms of analytics and streaming and so on and so forth. Going forward, more and more AI requirements needs to be integrated in these layers, which is in the shape of large language models or small language models, which I'll touch briefly in a couple of minutes. Now, going forward, is it worth it? Is it worth investing? Why is it such a hype? Of course, we are clearly identifying that there are three, four dividends that one can look at, which will lead to business growth and economic output growth, where we are able to monetize the higher traffic, better experience, and new services that comes with the 5G layer on top. Now, as you integrate the cloud connectivity with 5G, whether it's a small and medium enterprise or a better home, connected home or industry, there are new revenue streams there to leverage the digital dividend, and so on and so forth for computing an intelligent dividend in the future. What it is leading to for the service providers is to change their business model from pure connectivity-based offerings to a platform-based offerings where the same infrastructure is able to then extend to multiple other services and products, and therefore it generates the necessary sustainable development and efficiency requirement that is required from these infrastructure layers. For the future, there are some numbers, some predictions, as we have seen things evolving in the AI space from a simple chatbot to co-pilots to full-fledged agents. We are seeing that by 2030, AI assistants would be more than number of people connected on 5G, 4G, 6G networks by 2030. And therefore, they would be deploying, whether you are trying to simplify a function at home or life, entertainment, work around it, you will have assistants working with you. Similarly, in the industrial space, whether it's production, quality inspections, R&D, there are more and more purpose-built robotics that comes into play. Now, in terms of vehicles, we have gone beyond the fascination of taking the driver out of the car, where we realize there is more requirement in terms of high precision navigation, interaction of car with other elements of the surrounding area, safety assistance, and so on and so forth. Therefore, there are AI-assisted vehicle opportunities, which will in turn raise the computing power and capacity requirements on a go-forward basis, as much as 120x in 6 years. And these numbers, as I mentioned, are getting refined each and every day. Now, in the same context, if we break up the AI journey of what happened in 2024, we are seeing further drill down of AI elements in terms of image classification, audio-visual text multimodal analysis, and these attributes of AI now actually being adopted and developing into a workable use cases. On the right that you see in 2024, alone that we have seen, there are 1,000 plus large language models available in 2024. 60 plus countries have released national AI strategy. More and more enterprises are adopting applications. AI generated content is maturing. Commercial chipsets are available, right? But the challenges remain. We need to be very wise here, how we are upgrading the data center infrastructure that is the foundation for supporting this development of 5G cloud and AI synergy. What sort of performance hurdles exist? How do we solve the O&M difficulties because this technology layer is becoming more and more complicated? On the strategy side, digital needs to be first started with data strategy. What are we going to do with data? How do we protect ring fence around the data so that it is rightly used? What sort of models do we need? We have seen the choices of models, right? Wiping out billions of dollars in a matter of a day, right? Do we need to build, every company, every organization need to build a large language model, or we can do adaptation to create small language models, focus more on localization needs. What is the right set of parameters that are needed, right? So right sizing, ensuring that data is ready for this integration and the value that it can unlock, skill development for running these systems, for improving these systems. These are some of the areas that needs focus, prioritization, right? Now, having said that, it is not academic anymore. These are some of the examples from Asian countries that 5G cloud and AI synergy has been deployed successfully, leading them to efficiency improvement, delivery improvement, productivity improvement as we go forward. And these range from logistics to smart government to energy, manufacturing, retail, the industry that you name it, everywhere it is already available and deployed. Point is, how do you scale it? How do you leverage these learnings so that we are not creating new and new technology layers, but using these technology layers more and more efficiently? Now, to summarize, this cannot be done alone. So like every time we are depending on building a technology and then we wait for it to grow organically before we start intervening in terms of its growth and development, now is the time to unlock the potential of these synergies, right? And for synergies, you cannot work in silo and you cannot work on one aspect of technology. You need to work on what enables that technology. What are the inputs needed in terms of driving that technology execution? When you execute that technology, what are the outputs? And then what are the outcome it drives? For example, for developing 5G AI, I need the right talent, right people to deploy it, right regulation policy and compliance environment to ensure that everything is happening right. And collaborative and partnerships to drive and raise the right questions. It's not about solutions, it's about raising the right questions. Then only we would be able to invest right, invest in right size, build the right infrastructure, and get the strategy spot on. The outputs that we want to measure are tech adoptions, use cases, how these models are effective, how can one geography leverage and take benefit of it from one place to another, and how does it lead to digital economic output, industry digitalization, and at the same time sustain, right? Because we want to focus on creating economic value and contributions through digital transformations that we are talking about. Transformations are needed because the scale of population is such that we need to address everybody uniformly. Therefore, if digital is a measure, how do we develop technology for good? That can only be done through collaborative ecosystem and innovation, so that we can address areas, more important areas of transparency, trust building, accountability, affordability, sustainability, because end of the day, we need to do this together, right? And we need to be responsible for future generation as we go forward. Technology has a potential, but it can only be realized if it is used in the right manner. Therefore, we all need to come together. And events like this give us a perfect platform to openly share our challenges, raise the right set of questions, and get the insights and learn from each other, right? And I hope as the day progresses, my fellow speakers and panelists, they are at least able to trigger the right set of questions that we could raise during the day and get some value out of it. So with that, I would like to wish all the best for the further sessions as the day progresses. And I would be happy to answer any questions, any queries that you may have. Thank you so much.